Oh yeah, hello. Oh yeah, you're back with Mini Haha. It's been a week since Bingley Hall, oh, just over a week. Bingley Hall 2024. Just thought I'd update you on where we are. Quick update. Sorry if anybody's been following the loom and the electrics on this Mini, this 76 Micra Mini behind me. I've had to make a few decisions before I can go ahead and fit the loom. The biggest decision is the clocks. Where am I going to fit the clocks? I've sorted that now, and I'll show you what I've done to advance things. I've got the indicators and wipers and things stored because I need to still fathom out, but I've got a plan for that. So we are going to be going down the full Micra loom, hopefully, which is made my decision with what type of clocks I'm going to be fitting. I just think it's going to be a lot easier than trying to stitch looms together, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I am making it up as I go along, so bear with me on that. But to carry on the inlet fuel manifold thing, I have painted all the bits. I've attached it together, all coupled up. There's a gasket between the plenum box, the air box, and these headers here. So that once that's all bolted up, because this does all bolt together, that should be sealed. I've got a nice, hopefully it's still there, yeah, got this nice 1.4 16 valve badge on there, which I believe came off a Volkswagen Golf, maybe. So that's on there, looks quite nice. I have figured out that this airbox, which I modified, the one I cut the headers off and welded shut and put new headers on, is from a Toyota MR2 2-litre 16 valve, so plenty big enough. But I think that's looking quite smart now, and we'll have a go at fitting that on probably in the next video, trying to get the throttle body on and the clean air pipe coming into it with the filter on. Get a few vac hoses plumbed in and see how we get on with that. But before I start fitting that, again, sequence of events is I need to try and get the engine wiring loom in place. So now I'm happy with the inlet manifold for the moment, and that looks all sweet. These clocks, so the clocks I've decided to fit in a central position within the cabin on the dash. The reason I've done that is that I've got no space behind the steering wheel on the dash, because my modified clutch arm reinforcement bracket is basically fouling that area. So it had to go in the middle, and I'll show you that in a second. The clocks out of a Micra look a bit like that. I've got one with a rev counter on somewhere, which again you'll see in a minute, and then there's a big plastic shroud, like a hood, out the Micra, which goes on that. So I've had to fathom out how to modify this hood, how to attach these clocks to the hood, and how to attach the clocks back to the bulkhead of the Mini. So yeah, again, I've been making things up as I go along. What I also needed to do was, at the back, this kind of plug and play module pushing plug at the back. I need space to push that, the loom and the plug into that. So I'll show you my solution. And what else have I got to show you? Oh yeah, the heater matrix pipes, which were coming off the engine. That was the way I had it before. I had this sort of, I don't know, looks like 3D printed thing, nylon thing, coming up through the cross member, angling at 90 degrees, and then going into the engine pipes. I wasn't happy with that. I thought it looked shit, so I've changed that, and I'll show you what I've done to improve it. So, done the throttle body, pipes, and I've got to show you the clocks. So let's take it off the stand and get close into the action. Right, here we go. I've got you in my hand. So yeah, this is the pipes I've modified. There's two pipes coming off the engine. They went through the bulkhead there on that nylon 90-degree thing. Looked a bit wonky, looked a bit crap. So I modified a blanking plate for the left-hand drive clutch and brake cylinder area, and got these through body aluminium what do you call them, hose connectors. I think they look a lot better. So yeah, that's one thing I've improved. What else have I improved? When I went to Bingley, there was a few things I got, and one of them was a single line brake master cylinder there, which I've bolted through and then modified another blanking plate to blank off the redundant clutch cylinder hole, which again has neatened that up. So I've done that. What else have I done? I've done some work on the exhaust, which I'll try and show you but I've basically connected up. Front to back. So from this crappy bend here, I've got back to the back box. No flexible joint on there as yet, but I'm just mocking it up and getting it ready for if I can start the thing. What else did I do at the back? Down the back, I've put a blanking plug on that pipe I mentioned in a previous video because that's redundant. So a 19mm diameter auto silicon blanking plug on there. And while I was down there, I also changed the oil filter. Again, it's a spin-on type. I don't like them side mounted because you can't prime them properly. You can't fill them with oil. So I'm not a big fan of that. But so what else have we done? Right, clocks. So what I've done is I've taken one of these bulkhead clock blanking plates. I think most minis had a variation of these things on there. But what I've done is I've flipped it over. I've used it backwards and I'm fitting it on the engine side because usually these are bolted on the internal cabin side. Now the reason I've done something as daft as that is if you can see that bolt there on this little angle nylon block I made, this bolt is pulling the clocks in on the cabin side. So I'll swing you around on the inside. So this is the driver's position and the clocks are there, I had to make my mind up. They had to go somewhere. I couldn't fit the wiring loom without at least having a clue where those clocks are going to be positioned. Couldn't fit them there because of all the contraptions going on, and there'd be no point over there. And I'm probably going to have the ECM for the loom and fuses and stuff like that over there. So that really was the only place. So I modified the hood. I carved the back of it off. You can see my rough cutting at the back there. I've figured out a way of fixing this hood to these clocks. You can see some nice shiny bolts there at the moment, and it's pretty solid. I've still got to fix that plate on properly on the engine side, because at the back of those clocks, I will disassemble them and show you how I've done it. The back of those clocks, there's a big long bolt, and basically goes through that plate, that silver plate I've just showed you, and you tighten it up and it pulls the clocks in, and it sits there nice and sweet. So yeah, that's where we are with that. I'll show you a little bit once I've disassembled that, so you can see how I've got that contraption to work. But Bingley always good. I managed to pick myself up that brake master cylinder. It's a proper AP Lockheed one, a single line, and I got that for 40 quid. They were advertising it for 45, but old school Minis card reader wasn't working. There was no signal in Bingley Hall. What else did I get? I got a nice shiny rear bumper for 20 quid. A nice heavy one, thick one. Not original, but probably better than the original ones. And that fits nice on the back. What else did I get? I managed to get 2 mini light alloys, 5.5 by 10s, good offset, or not much offset. I think they were 25 quid each, and they look brand new, don't look like they've even been used. I got some the demister hoses, the corrugated ones, and the little funnel things which fit in there. So I've got the black funnely bits and some of those crinkly hoses which go down to the heater. And I think I got all those hoses and plastic bits for a tenner. So you can get bargains at Bingley. Doesn't matter what everybody else says, you can. If you're willing to haggle, people love it. So yeah, that's where we are with that. A little bit on the end in a minute of these clocks disassembled. Cheers. Well, taking those clocks out literally took me about 2 seconds to do that by just undoing that one bolt. I'll show you. So there's that bolt I undid from the engine side through that silver plate, and little 90-degree bracket has allowed me to connect the shroud to the clocks, and at the same time this little connector, all thread connector there, which is like an extender. I'll glue all this on so it doesn't move and rotate about, but yeah, just by tightening that up, pulls the clocks towards the engine and pulls them into the dashboard. So that's a little gizmo there. You can see where I've hacked at this shroud. I need to tidy all that up. I've had to follow the contour of the mini bulkhead there. And to attach the clocks at the bottom, I've used a similar kind of thing on these two tabs which come on the clocks. Is big long, what's that? 80mm bolt, M6, little connector, all thread connector, bolted that on there, then coming through to the other side of that all thread connector is a nice little dowel-medded stainless nut, both sides. So yeah, so 3 bits connect the shroud to the clocks because they are independent of each other, and then that little extension, M6 extension there with that weird bulkhead plate on the engine allows me to pull it all towards me. So it's simple as that. We'll see. Cheerio.